My name is Anna. I was a 33-year-old housewife then. I had been married for a year, but I hadn't conceived. My husband Sean loved kids, and he'd been very excited about having his own from the beginning. But the storks never can. Sean grew impatient and told me to see a doctor. I went to see OBGYN, and after I had many tests done, my doctor concluded there was nothing wrong with me. Just as I was relieved, Sean declared, "I'm sorry, but divorce me." "Why? There's nothing wrong with me."
"I just want a child as soon as possible. Who knows when you will conceive if I stay with you?"
I was speechless. It's only been a year since we got married. I've already proven that I'm fertile. Why can't you wait a bit longer?
"You're already 33. You'll be too old while I wait." "Wait, you're already old." "I want my child to have a young, beautiful mother."
What did he mean by that? Did he think his wife was a thing or something? His remarks stopped deep in my chest. I still loved Sean. I tried hard to persuade him not to divorce me, but he was adamant. We parted after only 1 year. I was so heartbroken and depressed that I couldn't think about anything else. As the months passed, I began to see his true color. He didn't love me as much as I thought he did. He really thought I was just a tool to have kids. I was convinced of it 2 years later. My friend Christy told me that he had a shotgun marriage with his new girlfriend. Christy and I were best friends since college. She happened to work in the same company as Sean, so she was a mutual friend of both of us. She was very easygoing and popular with everyone. Sean took an advantage of it and consulted anything to her. He was apparently seeing his new wife when you guys were still married. What? That means he was cheating on me. Right. He blamed you for not getting pregnant while he was fooling around outside his marriage. She banged a cup of coffee on the table and gave me a serious stare. Don't waste your time being sad about him. Find a new guy. I finally moved on after this. A year later, I got married again. I had been part-timing at a call center after the divorce and met Peter, who was 2 years older. After a half year of dating, he proposed to me. I'm very happy, but...
Am I not the one for you?
No, it's not you. I might have trouble conceiving.
What do you mean?
I told him in detail about how my ex and I got divorced.
That's all?
He laughed it off.
Didn't the doctor confirm that nothing was wrong with you? Besides, conception is something the couple has to work together. Don't think of it as it's all your responsibility.
I teared up at his comments.
Even if we weren't fortunate, we just live our own life together.
I will never forget his warmth when he held me in his arms as he said this. I was really happy in my new marriage life. He initiated doing housework and got things done around the house.
Maybe because I was single for a long time, but it led me to you, so thank God for that.
He said with a shy smile, which was so cute. He was good at Italian cooking too, and often cooked for me. Sean had never done any housework, and I believed all men were like him, so it was a nice surprise. I must have been really fulfilled. I found out I was pregnant 6 months after our marriage. During a routine checkup, the doctor said,
"Congratulations!"
I returned home in disbelief and gave the news to Peter.
Seriously? Hooray!
He picked me up by the waist in his excitement. Hey, put me down.
Sorry. Too much for the baby.
He immediately put me down and stroked my stomach. I'm happy that you're excited.
Of course, it's ours.
I saw him trying to hold his tears and I almost cried. It's thanks to you. I feel so peaceful with you. I think that's what I was able to conceive.
Take good care. Don't push yourself too hard.
I know. The next 9 months were like a dream. I hardly got morning sickness, and as soon as I got to the second trimester, I went shopping with Peter. It was so much fun to look through and get ready for the baby. One day, I received a call from Sean a week before my due day. I contemplated for a second and answered the phone. Hello?
Hey, Anna. It's me.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I heard from Christy that you're having a baby. Is it true?
Yeah, it is. Why?
Because I thought you couldn't get pregnant.
What the heck was he talking about after all this time? I was lost for words.
I guess I should have been a bit more patient.
He made an unbearable joke. Are you kidding me? By the way, how's it going with your new wife?
What are you talking about?
He played dumb. Doesn't matter. It's none of my business anyway. Bye. I hung up on him with a careless tone of voice. I wondered what the purpose of his call was. I told Peter when he got home from work. I didn't divorce him out of hatred, but it's creepy for him to call after all this time.
Maybe he had a fight with his wife and wanted to vent on you.
He didn't sound like that. He even made a rude remark that he should have been more patient.
Maybe he wanted to congratulate you.
Of course not. You're so naive. He chuckled, and I thought he was such a good-natured guy. Seeing him like that, I felt foolish to be upset and changed the subject to the baby. It's a girl. My doctor revealed this to me the other day. We discussed her name again. His face brightened with joy.
I can't wait to meet her.
Soon, exactly after 1 week, the baby was born. We named her Valentina, which means healthy and strong. When Peter held her in his arm, he cried and thanked me over and over. After I was discharged, I spent my days struggling to raise my baby. Of course, Peter was very helpful, but there were many things we weren't sure of and felt miserably.
I wish our reliable parents were here at times like this.
Oh well, both our parents live far away.
Why don't you go back home with Valentina for a bit?
No worry, it doesn't matter how hard it is. I want to stay here with you and her. We were exhausted after many sleepless nights of crying, but just looking at Valentina's face soothed me. 3 months passed, and by the time she was on a 50-50 split of milk and formula, we were finally able to sleep better. Then one day, Christy came over with a baby gift. Oh my God, so adorable! She exclaimed in a whisper when she saw Valentina sleeping in her cot. Congratulations, Anna! Thank you. I'm so glad you came. I wanted to come sooner, sorry. Doesn't matter, you're very busy at work. I'm just glad you finally got to meet her. We sat down with cakes she brought and coffee. Valentina was the main topic of our conversation at first. After I poured the second cup of coffee, Christy switched the subject. I know it's not the best time to tell you this as you're in the happiest place. But will you listen to me? What's wrong? Well, it's about Sean. He had a baby right away with his current wife, so he believed that you were the problem. I expected that. But when he found out you were pregnant, he changed his mind and started saying it may have been him with the problem. Way too late now, and I wondered if his head was okay. He does have a child, doesn't he? So what's the problem? He is an idiot. He is determined that it isn't his and accused his wife of cheating. She looked disgusted. What in the world? That's over the top, don't you think? When he mentioned it, I really thought he was a true idiot. So, was he really serious? Yeah, he seemed. Even so, she consoled him. You know what he said to me then? Once a cheater, always a cheater. I can't trust her anymore. Say who? He should have looked at himself in the mirror before commenting. Both of us were appalled. His wife was furious and went back to her parents after a big fight. I can't blame her. He was lost and whining about what to do, but I yelled at him it was none of my business. I laughed at my imagination of him being flustered then. Anyway, he is going through turmoil, so I worry that he might bother you. No worries, I got nothing to do with him anymore. I know, but he is illogical right now. I appreciated her concern and was reminded of her kindness. I will block him on my phone. That's better. I'll make sure he doesn't bother you again. We heard a cry from Valentina, who woke up from her slumber then. I picked her up in my arms. Christy asked to hold her with her arms stretched towards me. While we were cooing over the baby, I completely forgot about Sean. A month passed, and I kept busy taking care of Valentina. Sean had never contacted me. But then, his wife suddenly showed up with her child at the door. She got my address from Sean's mother. I informed them in case they needed me for anything. The wife of Sean was called Susan. She looked young, probably in her 20s, and was very pretty with big striking eyes. Her son, Tate, was almost 2 years old and looked exactly like his mom. While we sat down on the sofa, Tate played with Valentina on the floor. I'm very sorry for showing up like this. I have been wanting to apologize to you. Susan started the conversation first. Apologize? That's right. I had no idea Sean was married when we were dating. But then I felt guilty after what happened. I was perplexed and didn't want her to mention it after all this time. You came all the way to apologize to me? No, we decided to get divorced. What? You and Sean? Yes. It's not your concern, but I want to talk to you, so I showed up. She started pouring out her frustrations. Her story was indeed shocking. Sean scolded and yelled obscenities at me, so I showed him the proof of paternity with the DNA test. Then, wasn't the problem solved? Not at all. He used to call me dirty and said he married me only to have a child. He degraded me until the result came out. As soon as he was assured, he said, "Oh good, now we can have another child without worry." He turned 180 degrees. Can you believe it? She wasn't finished with her ranting.
I for sure was a mistress, but that's because he lied to me.
She banged the table. Calm down. Don't frighten the children.
I'm sorry.
She snapped out of her rage and hung her head down. So, you decided to divorce him?
Right. He thinks women are tools to make babies. It doesn't need to be me.
I understood her so well. That was exactly how I felt back then. If you asked me if I felt hatred towards her, it may slightly be true. However, the children are innocent. I looked at them playing happily and felt some pity for them.
Fortunately, Sean's parents are on my side. They are astounded by his foolishness and even banned him from their house.
They've always been good people.
I agree. I have no idea how the song like that came out of them.
We looked at each other and laughed.
He is demanding custody, but I will never allow that. If he continues to argue, his parents tell me to get an attorney.
And what are you going to do from now?
I'll move back with my parents and look for a job.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. I thought you might understand me, so I came to see you. Also, I'm worried that the idiot might stop bothering you. Please, watch out.
I had lost the resentment towards her for our strange bond. We both don't have a knack for choosing men.
I don't think so. You found a wonderful husband in the end.
You still have a long way to go. She was all smiling when she left. I assumed we'd never meet again and wished for her happiness. A month later, Christy called and updated me that Susan and Sean's divorce was finalized. I changed my number so that I was never bothered by Sean. However, he was still telling people that it was my infertility that caused the problem back then. What a small guy.
He keeps saying if you became pregnant sooner, there wouldn't have been any trouble.
Christy was outraged over the phone.
I was so fed up with him that I gave in an ultimatum in front of everyone.
What did you do?
I transferred him to a smaller branch.
In fact, she was Sean's boss. She was excellent and had risen to the rank of department head. Isn't that abuse of authority?
The enemy of women is the enemy of society.
As she laughed out loud, I murmured the end for Sean. There's nothing wrong with wanting children, but if a man treats a woman like a tool to get what he wants, he has no right to exist in this world. Pitiful Sean is reprimanded by his wife and his boss, but he supposedly continues his disdain for women. Even at his new office, he's paying the price for getting involved with someone. There's no medicine to cure a fool. Maybe I'll curse him to have his private part chopped off.